welcome back to another episode of Creative Customs. We are installing a Drivevision camera today. So we're doing front and rear camera. So in the kit you'll get the camera. This is a hard wire harness. You also have the sticky plug harness if you don't want to have it hardwired, and then obviously the rear camera. Now these do come with a 64 gig card, but a lot of people upgrade to the 256 gig just purely because of the extra record time. One thing I would get before you go to install this is one of these, so then you're not running around later on trying to find the fuses to make it all work. So these do come with a variety of jumper fuses. This is obviously your kit. They do have the fuses for the camera, but you'll need the fuses obviously for the ones you pull out. Depending on your car, they may have the correct fuse, they may not. So this just gets ahead of the game. So you'll need, it does come with this trim tool. This will help you install it. You will need a test light to test your circuitry to see which one is your ignition, which one's your power, your constant power. And then you'll need a 10mm socket or ratchet spanner or spanner, so you can earth it out, or just tech screw if you're inclined to tech screw them through your car. So we're gonna get stuck into installing it, and then yeah, show you how easy it is. The first thing we're doing is putting the rear camera in. So obviously the rear camera gets mounted up here. You're going to want to take this trim out, run it down through the body grommets, and then run it all the way along your roof liner. You don't need to drop the line or anything. You can just tuck it in behind all these trims, tuck it up, tuck everything away, and then obviously run it down the front. And then when you come to the front, obviously the front camera is going to sit in here, so you're going to run your harness down, and then you're going to want to find wherever your fuse panel is. And I believe on the 200s, well, on a lot of Toyotas, they're on passenger side. Some are on this side, on the driver's side. So you just need to be wary of where they are. If you run it down and you realise it's on the other side, you may not have enough length to run it across the dash. It's just easier to go down the right side before you start. Basically, you want to get some alcohol wipes, whatever that's called, yeah, something to clean the window down. But clean roughly where you're going to want to stick your camera, and then basically get your camera mount, and then stick it on. Try and get the camera where it's going to be in the middle. And if you find that it's not in the right spot, you can rip these off, but you're going to have to get some new double-sided tape. So yeah, pull your trim down. Obviously if this is a sedan or something, you're not going to have all this. You just run it down your pillars, but you just tuck it in your roof skin. Alright, so you get that down. So basically what you're going to be doing is going through one of these body grommets and then running it down through inside to here. So I'll get this unplugged out of the way. A bit easier to see. And it'd be best to find the grommet that has the most room, and there's also the easiest to maneuver around. So this one here has a bit of room, but it has a big plastic retaining ring. Sometimes they can be a pain. So I'm probably going to go through this one. One thing I have found with these kits is some of the other kits have like a USB fitting where they come in and they have like a little dog leg, and they're generally quite hard to get through grommets. With these, they're nice and straight, so they'll go straight through the straight through the grommets, no worries. Put that in there. Plug that in. Feed that out through the hole. Just get a bit pulled through so you can start it. And then, I'm sorry if it's a bit windy, I should grab my microphones. And then you just want to feed it through. One thing that can make it easier is if you've got like a little bit of wire or something that's a little bit stiffer, you can poke it through. Tape this on, spray a bit of lube on it, like a bit of silicone spray or anything really, and it'll help you pull it through. So I'm going to go grab a bit of wire. And this is the part that will take you the longest, is getting these cables through. Some grommets really simple, some grommets not so simple. Cool. Alright. So to get it through, put some tape on your lead, and then take your lead obviously to the tape. Make sure that the end is covered, because that's what's going to get snagged on something if you don't put it on. And then spray it, put some lube on it. And you'll see how easy this slides through. Alright. Feed this through the last bit of the roof lining. That is now through your tailgate, and it's still very watertight. Right. Now, all you gotta do is, like I said, you just run it all up along here, down through there, across all that way. So I'll show you how easy it is. And if you want to tuck it in further, just pull the roof lining down a bit further, just tuck it in. Make sure to put your seal back. So obviously this is a quite large car. I'm going to use pretty much all this cable. If this was a even bigger car again, I would probably have to get an extension to make it all work. So you can see, so I've been running it all the way along, and you can see it's fairly nicely tight. But you just want to do that all the way down. It does have to make it its way down to the front window. There could be the possibility where there's too much length, so you're not really going to know that until you either run it or just run it through the top of the car, plug it all in, and then just come back to the back and tuck it all the way again. So whichever way you want to do it, you know, at the end of the day, you don't want to rush it. Just take your time. There's no point rushing it, because otherwise you'll stuff something up. So I'm going to move the camera and make our way down the front. Sometimes you get to a point where you may have to drop a trim. I may have to drop this trim. Normally you can just tuck them, but because these tuck right around outside the door, I may not be able to poke it, but I'm going to do what I can. Yeah, so 95% of the time you won't have to drop trims, but unfortunately I think I might have to. I think I'm going to have to. That's alright, this is easy. It's just a couple of 10mm bolts. I'll be able to get this trim off, and we'll be able to keep going. So this is where you need to start looking at putting the main camera in. Same deal, clean your window down. Even though it's probably clean, but you never know. You want this to stick properly. Take your little protective covers off, especially the ones off the lens of the camera. And then your main sticky pad. And then line the camera up with the center of the car. So just use your mirror as your reference. And then try and make it as straight as possible. The same deal. If you ever have to replace the windscreen, you can just get new sticky pads. I'm sure they sell them. Otherwise, just get some good double-sided tape. Get your harness, plug it in. Now the only downside to this kit is it doesn't come with anything to stick to your window to hold the cable up. So you will have to look at something if you want it to be a really nice, clean install. Otherwise, just tape it up the best you can and then just go from there. So you've got your main power side harness, and this is for the rear camera. So plug it in, same deal. Get all this tucked up as best you can. And then you can either try and tuck this in here, or like I said, just rerun it all the way down the back. It's going to take obviously a little bit of rework, but yeah, basically just pull it back through. Right, you could start at the front and bypass doing this rework, but then you don't know if you're going to have enough cable. So if you don't have enough cable, then you're going to have to undo it all anyway. So it might look like a bit of a double up, but I find it easier, especially if you have a bigger car and you're not sure if it's going to be long enough. So just bundle this up, get a cable tie, wrap it up in electrical tape, doesn't really matter, and then you can tuck it back up into here. Finish all this off, make sure there's enough length on this one just in case you have to move the camera, and that's it. That's your basic cable routing. Then we just got to work out the electrical side, and that's pretty much it. So real simple so far. Tuck it in, get your trim. Obviously unplug everything, anything you've taken off, plug it all back in. And then that's it. Alright, so you need to find your power source, and as I said, every car is different. So obviously on this 200 series, it's down in this kick panel area. So a lot of the cars are on this side. You'll need to find accessory power and ignition constant power. So the kit comes with jumper fuses, so you just find your fuse box, find your wiring. So your ignition power would be like your Siggy plug, accessories, what else is in here? Power outlets, they're all like ignition. For your constant, you would probably want wiper motor, possibly the inverter. The seats should be constant power, even the sunroof. No, the sunroof is ignition. So you just get a test light and just test it, just to double check to make sure it is what it is. Cool. Right, so we found constant and ignition power. So I'll go grab the fuse. If you don't have a fuse puller, just get some needle nose pliers. That's just as easy. So like I said, you've got these things. And being tighter, they come with the same style of fuses. So I didn't need these, but I didn't know. So you want to go into your little bag of adapters, grab your constant. You want to get the same style fuse holder, and then I don't know if you can see this. So the fuse is going in top here, and then this piece here slots in, and it'll click in, and that's how you build your jump fuse. And if you ever pull it out to a different car, this will just pull out, and you just change your adapter. And then your original fuse you want to put back in this first one, and then the new fuse, which is the 2 amp one, which comes with the camera, you put in the second one, and that's ready for the camera right now. So you pretty much can plug that back in. Once you run your harness down, you connect your yellow to yellow, your red to red, and then your black goes to your body somewhere, and that's it. Simple as that. So we'll set this one up, and that same deal, find the right piece, make sure it goes in the right way. It'll only go one way, like it'll only lock in one way. Put it in, put the fuses in. Put that one back in. Then you just got to find somewhere to earth it out. So now this cable, we're going to want to run it down the pillar, and then inside the cavity. So I may need to pop this side out. I will need to pull off this outer trim and this lower trim, possibly this trim. I can get all this through, so I may not have to take any more panels off, but I still need to find an earth point. Looks like there's one right there. Right, so an earth point is anywhere that's metal on metal. So just make sure it's metal on metal, not going into a plastic grommet that's inside metal, because otherwise it's not going to work. So always double check that. I know people who have done it. And then just get your cables, match them up, colour to colour. Put the little sheaths around each other, just so you don't have any contacts. And if you really want to make sure it's not going to touch anything, just put a bit of tape on it as well. Cool. So now we should have some lights. I don't know if you can see that from there. You can see that? Yeah. Just angle it. So you got these 3 lights on here. So the camera is now active because it's got constant power. If we turn the ignition on, turn the radio right down, now it's all active there. But if I turn the car off, as soon as we close the doors, because the doors are obviously open, just close your door. And now power's all off. That's it. That's how easy it is to get these in the car. So now, obviously I need to finish off the wiring down here. You get your little SD card, goes in the corner, just near the cable, there's a little slot there. And that's it. Simple as that. So what's that? That took me another 16 minutes of me going slow and explaining it. So the average person with a little bit of knowledge, basic knowledge, should have this done within an hour. So they're pretty simple, but you do have to have a little bit of knowledge about how to test your circuitry and stuff. So yeah, I hope this helps people in the future. So one thing we didn't add, I wasn't going to add it, but we've played around with the camera. So you want to download the app, connect to the Wi-Fi, it's all in the instructions, connect to the Wi-Fi, put all the information in, so the camera, the password, all that stuff. And then basically this is what you get once you've got it connected. So you can see that's the front of the car there. You can change all this sort of stuff. That's the back of the car, obviously the tailgate's up in the air. So yeah, tells you your speed, your altitude, all that sort of stuff. You can also rotate left to right. So if obviously the camera was the other way, it looks like you can flip it, or I don't understand why you want to flip it, but yeah, that's it. Now they do say, I have spoken to Aaron. He had issues with his with the recording. It stopped recording certain minutes. He said just reformat the SD card, and he hasn't had an issue since. So every now and then, maybe every couple of months, every 6 months or so, just reformat the SD card, just so you're never going to miss that bit of footage, because you never know, something could happen, and that's the bank that it misses. So just reformat it. So easy as. Just go through to your settings, which is this button here. I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can see that. Settings, go down the bottom to format the SD card. Just format it, okay, and it will do its thing. So that's it. And then these look like they're quite a generic recording. So if you want to change your Wi-Fi password, generic setup, change your Wi-Fi password, change the Wi-Fi name, anything like that, you can do all that through this app. So pretty simple, pretty easy to use. So yeah, if you ever buy one, you want to try it yourself, hope this video helps. We'll see you next time. Cheers.